this is Chantal, and today we have Tosif with us, and we are going to give you a scoop on all things business on the Trickle Up Podcast. So Tosif, can you introduce yourself a little? Can you tell us about your journey and how you got to Trickle Up?
Thank you very much, Chantal. I think we've done this before, and anyone who's watched our videos before will have an understanding that we're always telling clients to do podcasts and make videos, because nowadays, from a marketing point of view, it's all about video. Everyone loves to watch video. And I know you're a content writer and you want people to read more, but it's all about video nowadays. So we started doing this, 9 months ago. We started doing podcasts, and as we first used to say, the first few times we do this, we'll just throw them in the bin and we'll never use them. And now we've been doing this now a few times, so hopefully our viewers will be able to take something away from this. And the subject that we're looking at today is around outsourcing. So I should also probably answer your question as well, which is a little bit about us. So we're Trickle Up. We're based in the UK, and we have our offices in Pakistan, and we've got a team of digital marketing experts that do everything from video editing, SEO, content writing, graphic design, website development. I'm sure I've probably forgotten somebody out there as well, but we just do a full overall solution for UK businesses on their digital marketing. And then also we do outsourced HR as well. So we provide administrative caseworkers, we provide employees who are working in Pakistan, and we argue that they do a better job than some people in the UK, and it's more affordable for UK businesses as well, because not everyone can afford £25,000 salary for one employee, and with us, £25,000 would probably give you a small team of administrators or whatever that requirement is for that small business. So so we'll hopefully have a really good conversation, and it should help UK businesses to understand the subject better.
So since you've already mentioned, our topic for the day is the truth of outsourcing. So it's the practice of hiring other parties other than the company when a company is trying to cut on costs of hiring people. Like you've mentioned, it's not affordable for everybody. So what do you think, what are the businesses that are benefiting from this practice? Would you say they're just the small to medium-sized enterprises, or do we have other businesses involved that are benefiting from this? And what are those particular benefits that come with outsourcing?
Okay. I will definitely forget all them questions, so you'll have to remind me of them.
That's
okay. But one of the things that you've just asked is around SMEs. So small to medium enterprise in the UK, it's a tough environment at the moment. You've got really expensive utility bills. The national minimum wage at the moment is £11.44. Right. So if you're going to hire somebody, you need to be paying them a minimum £11.44 per hour. Mm-hmm. And if you've got raw materials have gone up, and just doing the cost of business has gone up significantly, and this is especially happened after COVID as well. And then there's also the trend in the West, and you could say worldwide as well, where a lot of companies have now started to have their employees work from home. Yes. And what we say is, if you can have an employee who can work from home, you're still going to have to pay them $11.44 an hour. Whereas what we do is we provide that solution where our employees don't work from home. We've got an office, and we've got all of our employees work from our office site. So what that gives UK businesses is the ability to have somebody working in an office, working in a team, collaborating, building culture, all them kind of great things that happen when you're working in an office environment. But the beauty is, because they're outsourcing this, and because they're taking advantage of the labor in Pakistan, where the minimum wage is not $11.44, then obviously they're having cost savings as well. And with them cost savings, it allows SMEs to grow. So we're kind of enabling them to take on workforce which normally they won't be able to afford to do. So that's where we give one of the biggest advantages. But I think the secondary advantage is, here, if you're going to pay somebody $11.44, that's minimum wage. that means that individual won't really be a professional, because if they were, they'd be charging a lot more. They won't be particularly educated, and for them it might not be a career, it might just be a job that they've got. Whereas here, what we've got is every single person in our office has got a degree. Every single person in our office has got really good experience, has got a really good grasp of English, and is an expert at the work that they're doing. So what that's doing is the company or the SME is getting a better individual, and the beauty is they're paying less for that individual as well. And because I've got a lot of experience of working in the UK, I worked for a blue chip company in the UK for over 18 years, and managing people and managing process and all of that experience that I've got, we're able to then employ that here and make sure that we deliver for our clients, and we do a really good job. So I know I shouldn't boast, but I feel that, you know, our team does a great job for our clients, and we're saving our clients thousands of pounds per month, and we're making them significant returns on an annual basis as well.
All right. So my next question, you might have already answered some parts of it. Like, we already have this idea that if we're outsourcing to a different country, there might be a language barrier, there might be a time zone difference, there can be security issues. Sometimes companies are apprehensive that if they're cutting down on costs, are they cutting down on quality as well? So how does Trickle Up ensure that they're taking accountability of all these factors?
So time difference, that one's easy. At times we can give our clients a 4-hour head start, because we're 4 hours ahead. So our 9 o'clock in Pakistan would be 5 a.m. in the UK. So what that does is that enables us to get through workload, and then when the UK office opens, then the work's already there, ready. And that's one of the advantages. The second advantage, because it's only a 4-hour time difference, then if our clients require, we can have our employees work UK hours. So that's not a big issue. People in Pakistan, or workers in Pakistan, they don't like to do US hours, because US is 8, 9, 10 hours difference. And actually, when you meet somebody who does US hours, you can kind of tell, because they've got bags under their eyes, and it's really tough.
No social life.
No social life, nothing. And so whereas working UK hours is not as bad, because even if you're going to finish at 5 o'clock, then that means you're getting home at 9 o'clock, 9:30. So that's still quite reasonable. So that's not an issue as well. I think there's definitely cultural differences, 100%. One of the biggest cultural differences that I found when I moved to Pakistan is just around timekeeping. You know, in Pakistan it's very casual. If somebody says we're going to be there at 9 o'clock, if they're going to turn up at 9:15, 9:30, to them they're not late.
They're 9 o'clock.
It's normal. Yeah, you know, what's the big deal? We don't have to be right to the minute. And when I first got here, and I would want to go and meet somebody, I'd say, what time are we meeting? And they would say, in Urdu they would say Bella time, which means early time. And I would say, okay, what time's early time? And they would say, you know, just in the morning. Okay, but can you give me a time? And then I'd force it out of them, and they'd say between 10 and 11. I'd say, okay, fine. So I'm one that doesn't like to be late, and I'd turn up at 9:45, thinking that this person is going to be there at 10 o'clock. No.
It's 11. It's always 11.
It's always 11. And it took me a while to realize that when somebody says 10 till 11, he really means 11. And that's the thing. And we've got a really funny story when really early on when we started Trickle Up, we had one employee, and he came 2 minutes late. And I called him out, and I said, "You're late." And he said, "It's only 2 minutes."
Yeah.
And I said, 2 minutes, a minute, 30 seconds, 10 seconds, you're late. And I have this mantra, and I always tell people this: if you're early, you're on time. If you're on time, you're late. And if you're late, it's unacceptable. And I think it's about making sure that you're constantly talking about that and you build it in as part of your culture. And I feel that is now part of our culture. You know, we've got team members who are really committed. They'll make sure that they come on time. And I think it's not just about having a blasé attitude towards timekeeping. I just feel that sometimes it can be family pressures, it can be the road networks, it can be a whole host of different reasons why people can be late. And I think it's about being understanding as well. So that's what we try and do. Be understanding, but then constantly reinforcing the right thing and making sure that everyone's professional in their workplace. And I feel that we get that across the board. Something that I learned quite a few years ago, there's an individual called Daniel Pink, and he has a very interesting theory around how to keep people motivated. And typically we always think that motivation is linked to money. And he talks about studies that have been done where if you give people a bonus or if you incentivize them with money, what happens is either A, you're not going to do good things, or B, the pressure of the financial reward can make you fail. And what he talks about is three key things in that truly develop and drive motivation, which is autonomy. So giving people the autonomy to do great work and giving them the space to be able to do that. So we don't have that culture, which is quite unusual in Pakistan. We don't have that culture of standing over someone's shoulder and saying, what are you doing? Why are you doing this? Why are you not doing this? And for us, it's about setting clear objectives and giving people the room to really develop. So we give a lot of autonomy to people. The second point that Daniel Pink talks about is mastery. So being really good and being great at what you're actually doing. And it's about pushing that and making sure that there's development and having a growth mindset. And not too long ago, we set up a fund for our employees, a development fund. So each employee can say to us that actually, in my field, I want to do development in this. So as an example, you're a content writer, there's a copywriting course going on, and you want to do that, and it's going to cost you X amount of pounds or rupees to do that. So what we would do is we would fund that to help you become better. Now, there's multiple reasons why we do that. Firstly, if you're better at your job, then that's better for our clients. Secondly, you're going to feel valued because you're going to think, actually, look, my company is actually investing in my development. And thirdly, there's the piece around you've got a growth mindset. So if you're growing, what you're doing is you're overall growing our organization and you're helping other people grow as well. And then the third thing that he talks about is having a purpose. And that's something that, especially in places like Pakistan, and you could even argue a lot of SMEs lack this as well, is they don't really have a purpose. What's their underlying purpose? What are they trying to do? And I get it, businesses are trying to make money. That's a very simple thing, but there's got to be something that's beyond that as well. You've got to make a difference to the local community or your industry, or you've got to be able to be in a position where it's not just about money. Because money is not a great motivator. Don't get me wrong, we need it.
Well.
Sorry?
It doesn't sell well. You have to have a purpose, a story in order to sell something.
Yes, you have to have a story and you have to have a purpose. And I think just money on its own is not a good motivator. And I think what we do loads of different things to keep our teams engaged. We have a fun activity that we do every month. So every month we get everyone from the office, we'll go out, we'll have a good time. And these are just engagement tactics that I've learned working for big business in the UK. And the reason why they're worth noting here now is because I don't think that's very common in Pakistan. There's not many companies that would be thinking like that. Don't get me wrong, there's a lot of big brands here that have got their team set up here in Pakistan, and they will do that. However, what we do is we're speaking to our colleagues, we're constantly asking them, how beyond money can we make their life better whilst they're at work? Because on a daily basis, you, I, everybody else is here for 8.5 hours a day. So it's important that you feel comfortable, you feel valued, and that's what's going to help you do a great job.
I think as a professional myself, more that draws me to a job is the amount of growth that it has to offer. So unless I see myself growing in a role, I don't think the money is not always something that you should go for.
And I think growth is really important. There's we talk about mindsets, having a growth mindset or a fixed mindset, and if you drill down, the only difference between a growth mindset and a fixed mindset is the fact that a growth mindset is constantly growing, is always looking to how do I improve. A fixed mindset says, I'm the best. I know what I'm doing.
Yeah.
But ultimately, the world's changing. If we talk about digital marketing, if we talk about social life in general, if we talk about culturally, everything's constantly changing. So that means you've got to move with the times. If not, you're going to get left behind. Yeah. It's about constantly learning.
So do you think outsourcing, in a way, like UK is outsourcing work to Pakistanis, so that kind of enables them, that's improving them as individuals, as like in their own careers? Do you think we're expanding the pool of talent now that we have received their business?
I think 100%, because obviously it's bringing investment into the country. However, there's already a lot of talented people here in Pakistan. Education is really, really important in Pakistan. And I think it'd be very rare for you to find, somebody who works in a professional environment who doesn't have an undergraduate degree. Finding people with a master's degree in Pakistan is very, very common. I've met more people with PhDs in Pakistan than I've done in my whole life in the UK. I think I've only ever met 2 to 3 people with a PhD in the UK, whereas in Pakistan it's common. And the education and development and that whole professionalism is prevalent across the whole of the country. When I say whole of the country, I don't mean the rural areas, because that's the problem, isn't it? We've got two real divides in Pakistan. We've got the rural villages where actually they might not even have clean drinking water, and they might not even have electricity. They've definitely not got gas, and for them it's about survival. That's a different part of Pakistan. That's not where we are. We're in a completely different, you could argue we're in a different country. Whereas where we are, education, Netflix, Spotify, YouTube, all these things are more or less exactly the same as the UK. Yes. I'm sure you watch Netflix.
Of course, absolutely.
And that's the same as somebody sat in the UK, but you're 4,000 miles away, and you'll be able to relate to someone from the UK, and you can communicate with them, and you'll have similar interests, whereas somebody from the rural area, they're not going to have that. And actually, even we would struggle to connect with that individual.
And that would be a complete alienation for either one of us.
Either one of us, yeah.
Okay, so how diverse Pakistani talent drives innovation and efficiency? We've talked about like individuals with master's degrees and PhDs. So they have a lot of knowledge. So do you think they have the same amount of experience when it comes to jobs and, we're working for another country? The requirement there and the requirement here is completely different. Do you think their knowledge aids them into, materializing that experience?
So I think one of the other plus points of a place like Pakistan is that Pakistanis are in every corner of the world. So I've done quite a lot of traveling in my life, and wherever I go, there'll always be a Pakistani/Indian restaurant there, and you'll always meet people in different parts of the world. And obviously there's a lot of Pakistanis in the UK as well. I don't know the exact numbers, but we're in a lot of the UK, and we've been there for a number of years. If I think about my father, I think he went to the UK in 1967, right. 67, 68, and he went there when he was 15 years old. And obviously me and my sisters, we've been blessed to be born in the UK and have British passports and British citizenship. However, people traveling from Pakistan to somewhere like Dubai or Saudi or US, and then coming back and then potentially continuing their career here, that's a normal thing. Yes. I can think of, we've got an employee who works in our insurance team. She was in Dubai for about 6-7 years. We've got people who've gone and studied in Malaysia. We've got people who've gone and studied in the UK. We've got individuals who've lived in Saudi Arabia. So we've kind of, a lot of our workforce has traveled and has worked and lived in other environments other than Pakistan. And I think it all depends on the level of intellect and the level of the individual. When you've got clever people and you've got educated people, they can adapt and they can change and they can fit the environment and the situation that you're in. And even if somebody's not worked in a professional environment, for me, I'm not that worried because I know we've got a really good culture. They'll look to the left, they'll look to the right, they'll see somebody doing the right thing, and then very quickly they'll be able to adapt to that and do them great things as well. And that's why I always have confidence in this moment in time, I have confidence in every single one of the team members that we've got. Now, don't get me wrong, we've had bad hires. 100%. I'm not going to say that I've never made a bad hire in my life. I've probably hired hundreds, probably 1,000 people in my career in the UK and in Pakistan. I've definitely made bad hires. However, it's important that you then make that cut and you make sure that you're constantly only adding great people to your team. And as I say, I can give you some really bad stories with people that we've hired and they weren't right. But then again, that's not just unique to Pakistan. I've hired people in the UK that were bad hires. And I think this is the difference. A bad hire is not really that long of an impact, or there's no potential of going to a tribunal or employment laws for the client to worry about. That's our problem. Yes. That's our problem. And this is the other advantage as well of outsourcing. If you're outsourcing laptop, desk space, headphones, keyboards, whatever it might be, that's not the client's responsibility. That's our responsibility.
That's the cost you have to bear.
Yeah, that's the cost we have to bear. If we have a grievance or if we have sickness, that's something we have to deal with. And that's the other advantage that for SMEs who might not have the experience of being able to deal with these kind of challenges, we've got a team over here that will, from a HR point of view, from a recruitment point of view, we'll be able to deal with that, and we'll be in a position where for the client, all they're finding is just seamless service and great employees who are adding money to their bottom line.
All right. So we'll quickly sum this up. So can you give us a few tips on successful outsourcing?
So I think we've seen this where with some clients, they see results straight away. And straight away, they're seeing really good results. One of the clients that I'm thinking of is an insurance administration company in the UK. And they had a team of 5 people in the UK. And what they've done is over time, they've built a team of 4 people here in Pakistan. And they've ended up moving them people to different roles, more advanced roles, and the team that we've got here does a far better job than what they were doing before.
Right.
And again, that comes down to capability because they're more capable individuals. And we're offering them efficiencies. They used to have an average processing time from start to finish, and their average processing time was between 6 to 7 months. Now, our team here in Pakistan have been able to get that average processing time down to 3 to 4 months. And they have 0 outstanding legacy cases, which when we first took over, they had loads. And actually, they didn't even know how many they had. This is how chaotic it was. They didn't even know how many outstanding cases they've got. So what we've been able to do is, we've been able to clear them down, and secondly, what we've also been able to do is we've been able to be in a position where we don't have any of them legacy cases, and our completion rates are a lot faster as well. So that's something that we've been able to do, and again, we can only do that by the client being involved. So the clients made sure that they do the training, make sure that they regularly pick up with their team, and they have their level of keeping the team engaged and keeping happy as well. On a day-to-day basis, that's our responsibility. However, as the client or the employer, it's important for the client to regularly touch base with their team as well. And where we found that clients ignore their teams, then obviously it's going to take longer for us to get results. And we help clients with that as well. Obviously for SMEs, it might not be a simple thing, it might not be something that they're used to, and for us, it's something that we're doing on a day-to-day basis. So we really hold their hand and we help them and we support them in making sure that they get the best out of the individuals that they've got over in Pakistan.
So there's a trend around work from home. What is Trickle Up's take on that?
Yeah, so in the West, obviously, a lot of businesses after COVID-19 have started to do work from home. And that's changing now. So a lot of companies now, especially in the US, are trying to get employees back into the office, and some of them are quite struggling at the moment. And I'm not a fan of working from home. I'm obviously a fan of outsourcing and get your work done from Pakistan or wherever that might be, and take advantage of a better workforce and a cheaper workforce. But what I'm not a fan of is allowing colleagues to sit at home and work from home. And there's multiple reasons for that. But the main one for me is I don't think it's the right thing for the employee. I mean, how boring would it be? You just open your laptop up in the morning and you start work, and then at the end of the day, you close the laptop and you're still at home. And, you know, just that whole engagement and fun element, and just having a bit of a chit chat and building rapport, having banter, that can only be done in an office environment. And I feel that that's really important for individual sanity and for a company to build culture.
I think an office environment really fosters growth.
Yes, I agree with you, and I feel that we should leave it there. You've just absolutely nailed it. Yeah, drop the mic. But yeah,
that's it.
So thank you very much.
Thank you.
And
this has been a lovely debate.
Yes.
I hope people enjoyed as much as we did.
Thank you very much. Speak soon.